I'm working with, you know, we all have like a good chemistry, and it helps that we kind of have like that
Yeah.
background before music.
Mm.
So, you know, it just kind of makes everything easier and flow better.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, how did you get started in music in the first place? What got you into producing and so forth? Because your stuff is amazing. I'm a massive fan of your stuff.
Thank you, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
anytime, man.
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of had an interest in music. It's funny though, like I never really thought about doing it seriously. So one of the members of my team that I was talking about, he's my step cousin. So him and my actual cousin, because they're stepbrothers, they actually used to work with FL Studio back in the day. Like they've been like producing for like a super long time. So
Mm.
um, like before that, I was kind of always into music, and like you know, I would always be looking at the album credits, seeing who like the producers are.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember too on MTV, like
Of
when they would show
course.
like those clips of like Timbaland and stuff in the studio,
Mm.
Just Blaze. Like
Yeah, of
I just
course.
thought that was so cool. So then like when I saw my cousins like you know like creating music on the computer, like they didn't even know that like I was paying attention. That's kind of how I learned like the basics of it. So
Mm.
I kind of just started messing around with it like a little bit, but like never really that seriously. Like as I mentioned to you before, I went to school out in Boston, and I actually studied finance
Oh,
while I
really?
was there. But yeah, so then I just started like producing like here and there, like when I had time. Um, and then my senior year of college, I met this artist that he like I just happened to come back to my dorm room one day, and he's playing guitar with one of my roommates. So then I was just like he told me to check out some of his music, and I was like, oh man, like this kid's pretty dope. And then I played him some of my beats, and like we got to like the last one. It was like the first beat I ever made. Like I
Yeah.
flipped this like Isley Brothers song called Summer Breeze.
Yeah, knew
So like we
it.
ended up he was like, oh man, like that's crazy. And like I had made that beat like a few years prior. So we kind of like reworked it a little bit. And then it ended up coming out as a record. And this was like maybe like a few months before I was about to graduate.
Mm.
This is in May 20 like late like the spring of 2014, I would
Yeah.
say. Um, so through that, he was actually using Superphone by Ryan Leslie. I don't know if you're familiar with the Superphone
Yeah,
platform
I
that he's
am. Yeah,
doing.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so through that, um, he wanted to come and bring like Ryan Leslie to our school to like come and speak and everything like that. And I had done like some events on campus, like I was part of a few different groups. So I kind of knew the people we had to talk to, so I had helped them set that up. And then, you know, I brought Ryan to our school. And then that's how I met Ryan, and he was working on his MZRT album at the time, and he was doing this thing with these different producers, like so that you could submit music to him. So I mean, like I was kind of going through the whole track of like you know applying to finance jobs and stuff, and I was thinking I was gonna take that route. And I'm like, you know, if something happens with music, like that would be cool, but like I'll give it my shot and we'll see what happens. And then, you know, I met Ryan like right before I graduated, and then you know I started sending him some tracks. He ended up using a few on his album, and then you know I just kind of like never looked back after that.
Yeah, I was gonna get into Ryan Leslie actually, because I know that that album MZRT, I've been listening to that almost every day since it came out.
Oh
And
wow, man.
yeah, I know that you produced Count It and Millions as well on the album.
Yeah, yeah, millions. I did with BMR.
Yeah.
So
Oh my God. I mean, what was it like to actually feature on someone like his album in the first place? That's been amazing.
yeah, I mean, you know, it was crazy because I mean, I'm sure you just like anybody else, and myself, like I like grew up watching like his videos like
Yeah.
on YouTube, and I was like, man, that's like so crazy. And then like to actually be in one of the videos, like that was kind of crazy to me. Like if you had told me that like I would have ever been in one, I would have been like, no, no way. Like I would have never
Yeah.
believed you. But it was crazy. I mean, I learned a lot from him. That was like really dope, and that's kind of what inspired me to keep going. Like, you know, I thought it
Yeah.
would be cool if he even liked one of my beats, but to use like a few of them, like, yeah, that definitely gave me like a lot of motivation.
That's amazing. I mean, what kind of advice did he give you when you're working together?
Like, you know, he just kind of showed us like how you can like really create a record, how you can just kind of start with like a beat, and like how you can build so much more on top of that to get like the quality sound, and then just kind of showing you like different ways of um trying to like you know create stuff that's gonna work for artists. Because a lot of the times I think like you'll notice when you start producing like or people will start making beats, and it kind of sounds empty, and then you know you kind of have like that beat battle world where people a lot, and like those beats are amazing. Like I'm definitely not knocking it. Like I love listening to some of those beats, but like you know like an artist will never get on it. So like he kind of just like taught us like the difference between that, and like that's like such a huge gem. And like, it's like amazing when you start to look at it, like how something can seem so complex, but it's actually like very simple. So like
Mm,
that was kind of probably like the biggest gem that like I took away from him. And
yeah.
just like reverse engineering tracks too. Like, if there's like a song you like, just try to recreate it, so that you can kind of learn like how they made everything sound like it did. And that, I think that was a huge gem as well. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, would you ever do beat battles, do you think?
I have in the past.
Have you?
I participated in some of the I Standard. I don't know if you're familiar with the I Standard company,
Yeah, yeah.
but I did like a few of those. Just to like kind of get my feet wet, just get a little bit more feedback on my tracks. And it was like a great way to like meet some people. I definitely met some producers there that I'm still cool with and work with to this day. And they provide like a lot of opportunities, I think, for producers. So like shout
Mm,
out to I Standard. Um, I also did like another one that Atlas the Plug he hosted. It was he did it with Nick Paps,
mm,
who's signed to Meek Mill. That was like a couple years ago. I did that. That was probably like the last beat battle I did.
yeah.
And that was dope too. So like that helped me like meet a lot of different people. So yeah, man. I mean, I think it's a great way to build your brand and just kind of get your foot in the door and like start meeting people, man. Like especially if you don't really know a lot of people, man. Like you gotta start somewhere, and it's also a great way to get feedback on your beats and stuff. So
Yeah, for
I,
sure.
I would highly recommend it if you're just starting out.
Yeah. I mean, were you nervous participating in them at all?
What was that?
Were you nervous being a part of them?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a confidence in my beats, but at the same time, it's just like you're getting on stage in front of people and stuff, and I don't do that all the time, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a change of pace. But you know, once you kind of like keep doing it more, actually, what? I don't think you ever really get over being like nervous a little bit. I think if you care about something, like you're gonna get a little bit nervous beforehand because
Of
you want it to go well.
of course. I know that you're also part of Instros Only as well over here in the UK.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I forgot to mention that as well. Pino, man, shout out to Pino.
Shout out to Pino. Yeah.
I actually met him when I was working on Ryan Leslie's album. He was submitting some tracks too, and he had some dope stuff. And then we've just been connected ever since. And he asked me to be a part of it. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, man. Whatever you
Yeah.
need.
Shout out
Great
to
guy.
Pete. Yeah, it really is, man. Shout out to Pino. I'm a good friend. We're good friends, actually. He's a amazing producer as well. Really fantastic. Give
Yeah.
him a shout out. But going back to actually R. Leslie, actually, when you submitted your tracks, did you end up changing them at all? Or were they like fully finished when you sent them?
I mean, it would be different. Like, so, like the way that we used to submit it is, it was kind of through like a private SoundCloud, and we would just upload it. And
Mm,
whenever Ryan would get a chance, he would listen to the beats. If he liked them, like he would like them, and then leave you a comment, saying like maybe some of the things that he may want changed, or just to send him the beat, or like there was different feedback. It really depended on what he wanted to do. But like I could say at least for my tracks, I know like he added a lot more. Like he ended up playing some piano,
mm,
um, and like playing some like live drums on some of the tracks we had. I mean, if you see like the Millions video, like he had hired a
yeah.
string quartet to come in, and everything like that. So that was like amazing to see like how like it started like kind of like what I mentioned before. Like it could start as a cool idea, but like he showed me like how to really like bring a track to life, and like how you can like incorporate a lot of live elements, and like how it makes like such a difference like in the music when you hear it.
Of course. I mean, what was it like for you to actually watch it back and then know that Ryan Leslie was playing some extra stuff on top of your tracks? Must have been
Uh,
unreal.
yeah, I mean, I was like sitting there when he was doing it. I was like, oh wow, man, like this is like amazing. Like it's you know like that guy is like amazing at what he does. He's a genius. So
Mm,
just witnessing that like in person like is definitely like an inspiring moment. Like I could say that's definitely something I'll never forget.
of course. I mean, have you kept in touch since?
I saw Ryan like maybe like a couple years ago. I ran into him like in Brooklyn actually, just like randomly. But it's been a little bit since I talked to him. You know how
Yeah.
Ryan is, man. He's
Yeah.
moving around a lot.
Of
He's running
course.
a full company and stuff. So, but yeah, man, it's always love with Arles anytime I see him, man.